I don't know subsequently. It was about 10 years ago. I don't know what subsequently happened, but I do remember that story. And it's a reflection of the fact that I think inherently the population would do that. Ukrainians have always had a special spot for children and orphans in particular. So I think if the politicians, the government, were to focus a little more attention on that or the privatization initiatives, I suspect there'd be a lot more success there than one might otherwise speculate.
So, you need a mic.
Mike.
Okay. Okay. I think I have a low voice.
For the film.
Oh, for the film. Okay. It's already on. Okay. My name is Stanislav. I represent a very nascent organization called Stremyanka. We are just pulling our resources together, so it's in the early stages. I had a question about what you were discussing in your description of your organization. You mentioned that the way that the population that you serve is referred to the organization is by volunteers going out and not recruiting, but actually inviting the children to come in, and that's usually how they become a part. So these kids are at the point that they become a part of the organization. They are on the street, or they're already in the under the sort of the care of the state.
They're usually in the care of some family member.
Okay.
We don't find them on the street.
Okay.
What we do is someone that's taking care of them, we want to make sure they take care of them well. Okay. And don't turn them over to an institution. So what we want to do is help kids who are and their guardians who are in a difficult situation. Want to help them financially. We give them cash.
Okay.
So we find them by basically word of mouth. Sometimes there might be a newspaper story where, as you know, an automobile accident kills both parents, and they leave 2 or 3 children. And so the coordinator will contact the uncle or the grandparents or whoever's left to take care of them to see if they might qualify for assistance. So, it's various sources, or it might be the orphans refer other orphans from school to the coordinator. And so we go and check them out, and then they fill out a form. If we can find sponsor for them, and that's the key. We've got lots of orphans waiting to be supported. And what we have to do here is find someone that agrees to take them on and provide that financial assistance year after year after year. So that takes time.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot more orphans waiting than sponsors waiting for orphans. So.
Bogdan Kontor. On the issue of orphans leaving orphanages and fearing for their physical safety, you would expect that orphanages meet their basic responsibilities of food, shelter, and security. Are they meeting, why are they fearful when they're leaving?
So why they are fearful when they live in the orphanage?
Yeah, when they leave.
Because they do not have any support system. When they live in orphanage, it depends if it's a full orphan who has no living parents, a social orphan. Sometimes a social orphan who has extended family, either the extended family has broken off the ties with the child, thus the child really has nowhere to go. According to Ukrainian legislature, orphans inherit the apartment or the house where either their parents or their guardians used to live, or they still currently live in there. What's been prevalent lately is that housing is being taken away from children. There's been corruption involved, obviously. Some personal stories that I've heard, a child who left an orphanage, he had the apartment that his deceased mother left for him, And then, again, according to these anecdotes, the militia set him up in that way that the apartment was taken away. So the kid was taken to prison, presumably for alcohol or minor offense, and then the apartment was basically just stolen. So the fear of having no support system, no networking, nothing out there, no one to go to live or to help with advice or just how to move forward as an adult, this is one of the major reasons for living in constant fear. And again, not really having appropriate social skills to integrate into society, to be responsible, to provide for yourself, again, because the old institutionalized system provides everything for children, starting from making beds and, just cooking for them and so forth. So they really don't have those basic skills to just, start living an adult life. And this is where it comes from. And then again, living in orphanage is living at least some system. It is a deteriorating system. It's debilitating them. But at least it's something they can cling on to. Even if they run away, they can always come back until the age of 18. And once they're out, once they exit, they're out to the world that has nothing to offer to them.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, in general response to the questions, there is more activity today than there was 15, 20 years ago in Ukraine as far as organizations stepping into the vacuum. One I should mention is Caritas, which is affiliated with the Roman Catholic Church. They have a specific example in Drohobych, where they've set up a project that Caritas supports, but they expect it to graduate to self-sufficiency in 2-3 years. That's how they operate. And they support about 100 social orphans mostly by providing a community center. They've rebuilt a former military base, taken over some of the buildings, rehabbed them so they have a community center. They have a place where kids can come after school, do homework, read books, play, a playground, play area. They set up summer activities, weekend activities for them. Many of them have parents who are alcoholics or drug addicts. And so they'd be basically street children, but for this presence. And so we've linked up with them, and we're doing some cooperative efforts with them. But that's an example of certainly a church-based activity. And I'm sure there are others around Ukraine that we haven't heard of that are of a similar nature. So there are things picking up today that weren't there 10, 15 years ago.
I guess with no further questions, again, I'd like to thank Alla and George for their presentations. It was very, very interesting and very informative, and I hope that the foundation can continue. This is a topic that obviously there's much more needs to be done, discussed, informed for our understanding and our action, so that possibly later in the summer hopefully we'll have another presentation. But again, thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you for coming also.